Hello and welcome to Desert Island Who, a regular-ish Doctor Who podcast in which well-known faces from the Doctor Who world take their chosen 8 Doctor Who stories to a desert island. And as always, joining me, my co-host Conrad.
Hello.
And this week's guest, Tim.
Hello.
Now, before we get into your list, for those listeners who don't know, do you mind saying a little thing about what you do in Doctor Who world?
In Doctor Who world? When I'm not in Doctor Who world, I'm jack of all trades, master of none, really. I'm a teacher. I teach adults with special needs and I write songs and things like that. But I've just written a book on Doctor Who where I went through, it took me about 4 years, but I went through every episode and did a little review for each one. That's, and I've been a huge Who fan since I was about 8 or 9, I think, the Sylvester McCoy years. Should give you an idea of how old I am. I basically wrote the book through an online publisher, Lulu, I don't know if you've heard of it, where I just basically wrote loads of reviews and put them all together into a book form. And since then I've just made a Facebook page for it, really, where I update pretty much every day with Doctor Who and other sort of science fiction related things.
That's very interesting, so the listeners can check that out then.
Yeah, what's the book called? For those of you who might want to check it out.
Yeah, it's on lulu.com and it's Doctor Who A Companion, it's called. So if you sort of go to Lulu and type Doctor Who, I think I'm about 4th down on the list or something like that. But failing that, have a look on Facebook under Timothy J. Lee, author. I've got a page on there.
Well, should we get into your list?
Yeah.
Now, your first choice is one which has been chosen before. I hadn't seen it when it was chosen before, but I have now since seen it. And it is the Aztecs.
I think I know about it.
You are a healer?
No, they call me the Doctor. I'm a scientist, an engineer, I'm a builder of things.
Now I understand your interest in the temple.
Yes, there are 1 or 2 features inside the temple that intrigue me.
It's a great character story, really. It really shows the strength of the Doctor, William Hartnell's Doctor, but also the companions as well. It's a great story for Barbara, for Ian, and for Susan, the 3 companions at the time. There's a lot of. It's quite a scary story at times, but it's also quite humorous as well. There's a bit where the first Doctor actually manages to propose to a tech woman without even realising it through making the way of proposing in that. So there's loads of little bits like that that are just great to watch.
Yeah.
And the main sort of villain of the piece, I can never pronounce his name. I think it's Utoxel. He's a great sort of sinister pantomime sort of baddie as well. So it's just great, sort of Hartnell at its best, really.
Yeah, what I thought about this one was I was just glad it was 4 parts because I was worried that it was going to be like a 6-part thing, like it could be quite dragged out, but it didn't feel dragged out at all because it was only 4 parts. And it sort of, I was worried because it's the only historical I've seen. I was a bit worried it might be a bit boring, but it did engage me. I sort of was interested.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I'm not as big a fan of the historical ones. So, but the Aztecs I thought had a lot to make it original and interesting.
So you think it's one of? How do you think it compares with the other historical ones of the Hartnell era? Do you think it sort of surpasses them? What do you think makes it like stand out as a particularly good historical that the others don't do?
Well, I think from a practical point, a lot of Hartnell ones, historical ones, are missing, aren't they, or reconstruction. So they are harder to get into, I think, as much as you try. So, I'm just trying to think of the other ones. Really, there's the Crusade that's mostly missing, and there's Reign of Terror is mostly missing.
The Massacre.
Oh yeah, the Massacre. Yeah, that's quite interesting at the end, I think, because it's that whole what's it called? Ethical dilemma, basically, of would he save the breaking the laws of time to do so, and the argument he has with Stephen. All that's very interesting. But I think Aztecs, like I said before, it's a real companion story as well. I think I've always really liked Barbara and Ian, and I think they really show their strength in that, their character in that story.